What's going on, everyone? Happy Monday to everyone. Hopefully, everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy. If you had to take a COVID test, hopefully you have tested negative. If you did test positive, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long COVID issues. It is time now for the Monday edition of the Pandemic Update for Monday, November 27th, 2023. That's right, it is now post-Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Therefore, we are going to be paying close attention and watching the post-Thanksgiving surge of not only just COVID, but of RSV, influenza, and all of the other viruses that are ongoing out there. Quick note that I do want to bring to you, we are making a change to the pandemic update. We're not going to be showing data at the end of the video from Worldometers anymore. Once in a rare while, we may show something from it, but for the most part, I'm going to start phasing out showing that just because we have seen time and time again where their numbers do not match other data that we see from elsewhere. So once again, that is no more Worldometers going forward. Alrighty. First off, welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, this is where we do the daily pandemic update. We talk about other viruses that are ongoing out there, and we talk about things that could be of risk to you. Starting off today in Canada, kids cared for in hallways as viral illness overflows ER McMaster Children's Hospital. This is just, wow, not a good thing. It says, we're seeing an increase in children being admitted with influenza, RSV, and COVID, up significantly from last week. So, the viruses are not just rising in the United States, it's also rising in Canada as well. Now we go over to the UK. Swine flu. UK detects first human case of the new strain, and it says the H1N2 infection was detected in a routine flu screening test at GP surgery in North Yorkshire. So this is the first case in a human, and it said the person had respiratory symptoms, a mild illness, and had fully recovered from the infection. So that's good, but it's interesting to note that the first human infection in the UK has now been detected of the virus. And continuing internationally, new all-time record for pneumonia among children aged 5 through 14 in the Netherlands. And you can see here in 2023, look at this. It's rapidly going up. So we're continuing to watch just what's going on with all these pneumonia cases. Could it be because of immune deficiency caused by COVID? You know, COVID can weaken the immune system. It's hard to say what's going on, but now we got the Netherlands that's coming in with a large number of pneumonia cases. And you can see in 2021, didn't go up that much. 2022, it did, then it started to drop. And 2023 is much higher than what it was in 2022. And you can see almost here, in some cases, the baseline at times is higher than what it was, with exceptions to earlier in the year. But yeah, look at this. Yeah, going up pretty quickly. Not a good thing. Taking a look now at the latest air quality data, and I'll be honest with you, the West Coast is still having problems. Look at this. From California on up to Washington, some of that is because of fireplaces, some of that is because of wildfires. The rest of the country is not doing too bad. I mean, just a little bit of yellow here in the Ohio Valley and Tennessee valleys, but nothing major to concern ourselves about. In fact, it's going to get very cold in these areas. Lake effect snow is now a thing in the Great Lakes. Moving on now, let's take a look at the ever important Walgreens update that did come in today. We're just going to do a few states because we do have new data from the CDC, which is very important as well. The national positivity trend current week is 28.3%. This is for COVID now. Prior week is 27.9%. That's a difference of up 0.4%. Testing last week actually did end up at 15,104. This week is down. We thought this would happen. It's at 12,552 this week. All right, let's just spend a couple minutes going over a few states. We'll start in the Northeast, go to the South, and go to the West. In the state of Maine, COVID positivity is actually down. It's 27.6% this week versus the prior week being 28.6%. That's a difference of down 1%. Total test 29 versus 28. Continuing on here, New Hampshire this week is up. It is 32% positivity versus 30. That's up 2%. 25 total tests versus 20. Coming down here to Pennsylvania. My state, 28.3% this week. Prior week was 24.4%. It's a difference of up 4%. 127 tests versus 164. Testing is down. And let's come down here to Louisiana. Louisiana is seeing a big positivity increase, or a good bit of one. 2.9% increase this week. It's 17.2% versus 14.3%. Testing is down. 99 versus 119. How about Florida? Florida is 19.8% this week. The prior week was 17.5%. That's up 2.3%. Total testing is down. 1,207 versus 1,409. Then we come up here to Alabama, which is seeing a bigger increase. It's 16.3% this week, 13.3% last week. That's a difference of up 3%, 153 tests versus 165. Ohio this week, 41.5% now versus 36%. That's a difference of up 5.5%. 400 tests versus 450. Then we come out west to California, 31.1% this week, 31.2% last week. Difference of down 0.1%. And testing was 421 versus 452. I'm seeing bright red in Oregon. This can't be a good thing. And oh, it's not. 41.4% positivity this week versus 18.9% the previous week. Difference of up 22.5%. Total test 29 versus 53. And let's just do a couple more states. Yeah, Washington going up here as well. 31.1% positivity this week. Prior week was 25.4%. It's a difference of up 5.7 tests. 164 versus 163, and we will also do Illinois. Illinois, 36.7% this week, 33.8% last week, up 3%. Total test, 1,220 versus 1,386. Testing was down last week, therefore you're seeing positivities rise, but we will not only do more states tomorrow, we will likely see more red next week because it's going to take another week for the Thanksgiving holiday surge to really start to show up on this map. Now, moving on to this. COVID variant. BA 2.86 triples in new CDC estimates and now 8.8% of cases. Yep, drumroll please. We have the new data from the CDC. BA 2.86 has now entered the picture. HV.1 is now up to 31.7%. EG.5 is now at 13.1%, 8.8% for BA 2.86, and JD 1.1 now enters the picture at 7.7%. And there's a whole bunch more variants. There's some other new ones that have popped up as well. I'm not seeing on here JN.1, but again, that's a lineage of BA 2.86. So maybe they're including that in BA 2.86. So yes, it's rising. It's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. And more data in from the CDC today does show. What we want to take a look at here is hospitalizations and hospitalizations admissions. They're rising now. Someone said to me earlier, oh, the current strain of COVID is mild. My videos are just fear-mongering. Well, if it's so mild and if I'm fear-mongering, then how come hospital admissions are going up? There are still people being admitted to the hospital, and deaths are still occurring as well. They're still a thing. And the percent change in hospital admissions, they're up 9.7%. So until people are not being hospitalized by COVID or dying from COVID anymore, it's not fear-mongering, it's reality. And COVID deaths, let me show you that. Let's go deaths, not for the past week, past 3 months. Let's take a look at some states here. The past 3 months. Texas, 863. What was 3 months ago? It was still the end of summer. Yeah, high numbers of deaths coming from the summer wave. Flu only has high numbers in the wintertime. COVID has high numbers all year round. California, 1,162 deaths in the last 3 months. Florida, 1,223 deaths in the past 3 months. So, yes, COVID deaths still happen, and I could go through many states. Here's Illinois, 443 deaths in the last 3 months. That's just from the summer wave. Right now, we're entering the winter wave, and winter, as we know, is the deadliest time of the year for COVID because more people get infected. So it's not something that we should be proud of, and it's not something that we should take lightly. All right, wastewater data did update. There's something I want to show you here. And we come down here to these orange and red sites. The number of them has increased. Orange sites went up by 11%. There's 350 of them now. Red sites went up by 76, up to 76 now. It's up by 21%. Yeah, that's not good. 76 red sites. That's really high levels of COVID. Louisiana and some states still are not updating on this map. It is good to see Oregon is back. Let's just zoom into Oregon real quickly. We did not give them any attention yesterday. And you can see here, Oregon, at this orange site in southern Oregon, it's rising at this time. Then we go up to, let's see here, let's just randomly click on Washington County, Oregon. Not doing too bad. Dropping, leveling off actually. Then we come down to Polk, Oregon. That's dropping as well. And let's go over to the coast. And we see here on the Pacific Coast area region, and it's slightly starting to rise. So we did get some wastewater data in. Let's take a look now at the EMS incidents in Philadelphia yesterday. It was 729. I suspect it's going to be higher today because the suburbs have been absolutely slammed with ambulance calls all day. Maybe it's slightly slower now. 16. It's been right around 18 to 20 all day long in Montgomery County, and earlier at one point it was just loaded with cardiac calls. I actually did a tweet on it, and from time to time it's been loaded with respiratory calls as well, and we can only suspect when there's a high number of respiratory calls it's a virus of some sort. Now, taking a look here at Chester County, Pennsylvania, yeah, they've been busy as well. I was listening to Center County earlier, and some ambulance companies were actually running out of ambulances. They had to page they had to go next available, which in other words means this town's ambulance place has no more ambulances available. Next town over has to come and help, and they were doing that often for Clearfield County, Pennsylvania. They've been doing ALS Assist, which that's never a good thing. That means they have no one available. So, yeah, ambulances are busy. It's the post-Thanksgiving time. I mean, post-Thanksgiving, even pre-COVID, would always get a rise in ambulance calls, but more so now than ever. But I will say this much. I don't think it's as bad as it was last year just yet, but hey, it's early. I mean, we have to watch what happens throughout the week. I just recall it being busier for ambulances last year, but I suspect that's going to change like a light switch very soon. Hospitalizations in New Jersey. Unfortunately, only 62 out of 70 hospitals reported. Hospitalizations are at 445. We know that number's likely higher. 11 people are on a ventilator and in the ICU. 48 people are in the ICU. Discharges. There's been 42 of them. New York State. Cases are continuously running a little bit higher now. 1,744 people have tested positive. Tomorrow will be the big start of the new week for hospitalizations. They finished last week at 1,204. Remember, it's a lagged week. I don't know if we're going to see any more data from last week. Actually, correction, that number was 1,207. They finished last week. I don't know if we're going to see any more data from last week there, but we will get the start of a new week come tomorrow, hopefully for New York State. All right, I just want to end on this. A lot of people have headed back to school this week. A lot of people have headed back to the office. Please make sure you're sending your kids to school in a mask. I know you don't like hearing that, but you know what? Everyone just gathered for the holiday. There was a record number of people that traveled through the airports yesterday. The roadways were mobbed. I tweeted out a traffic camera picture from Delaware on Saturday. It was the same deal yesterday. The interstate system was just mobbed. People traveled left and right. You're going to encounter people who are in the beginning stages of their infections from the holiday weekend. And this is the period where they are shedding virus, and it's going to spread to more people in schools, offices, any type of workplaces. Maybe you're going out shopping for the holidays. The holiday surge is here, and we're at the next level of people got infected over the holidays. Some are asymptomatic, some are symptomatic. COVID, RSV, influenza, pneumonia, all these different viruses. Now they could pass it to you at the places where you go daily. So please take note of that. This is really a risky time, and if you're feeling sick, take a test and just stay home if you can. Alrighty, folks, that's all I have for you today. If you learned anything, give this video a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below. If you know anyone that would like to see this content, by all means share this with them. Leave your comments down below too. I love reading your comments and I love responding to them. I will see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, stay safe everyone and have a fantastic Monday afternoon.